Hello everyone and welcome to Final Show. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've just got a few pre-show notes for you. First of all, I want to let everybody know that our addresses have changed. Our Twitch channel has changed from Senstaku to twitch.tv/FinalShowFilms, and our YouTube channel has also changed to youtube.com/FinalShowFilms. Next, we want to thank our $20 tier supporters on Patreon, which is patreon.com/FFilms, by the way, if you want to go throw a couple bucks our way. That's going to be Cat, Waterflame, Antitonic, Samantha Bates, and Maureen Montee. Thank you guys for that. Also, our website is in the process of getting updated, so go take a look at finalshowfilms.com. We've got Mara and Jeremy are working on updating all of our stuff there, making it look nice and like a modern website, and frankly, they know what they're doing far better than I or Austin ever did. So if you want to check out the things that are changing over there, you go do that. Follow us on Twitter at Final Show Films for updates for all future things, including things that are going on with our website and going on with the Patreon page, and things that are going on live as we stream them, as well as our podcasts and everything else. So thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. And we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We had a fun start today, and this week's episode of Hunter the Vigil, Terminus Tendency. I am William, and I am the storyteller for this New World of Darkness Hunter game. Let us begin by introducing our players, starting with John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Sean Mulcahy of the Malleus Maleficarum, and my accent will slip back and forth between Irish and English today.
It happens.
And Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I was just busy eating my delicious ice cream. Double strawberry swirl, by the way, with a fork.
Fake news.
I was trying to catch you between mouthfuls.
Fake news. It's not happening.
Jeremy.
Don't believe your eyes.
I am playing.
This is like the moon landing video.
And this is very good ice cream. Look at that fork.
I like that the fork has been added in as a qualifier to the quality of the ice cream.
It makes the ice cream better because it puts Jack in denial. And it has a palpable taste.
Speaking of Jack.
I didn't know we were in Egypt.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jack. I'm playing Eamon Mulcahy, the other Irish member of the Malleus Maleficarum. And yeah, we'll see what happens tonight.
And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Astrid Ashwin, a member of the Knights of St. Adrian.
And Craig.
I'm Craig. I'm playing Paul Phillips, a member of the Aegis Kai Doru. And
the ice cream fork eating has just thrown Craig completely off.
Let's get this thing forking started.
And joining us a little bit late, but nonetheless, always welcome, we have Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I am playing Drew the... And my brain went to Kairukin.
The Lucifuge.
Yeah, Drew the Lucifuge nerd.
Drew the Lucifuge
accurate.
nerd.
Accurate.
Did Jeremy actually introduce his character, or did he just go straight into ice cream?
Yeah,
okay.
Union rock star.
And I just want to point out that this isn't just context is for us talking before the stream. This is you should follow all of us on Twitter, which you can find roughly here.
All of our Twitters are above our heads.
Oh, yep. You can find it the one place I didn't point.
It is universally above our heads on every overlay.
Yeah. So, when last we left off, the group having had a bit of a rocky start, getting to know each other, introducing each other, learning their approaches and what they currently had to investigate this phenomenon of monsters flocking to Atlanta in large numbers and not necessarily in the greatest of quality, as there seem to be many weakling or fledgling monsters that have also appeared, not just the more veteran or powerful creatures. the group interrogated the Mulcahy's captive vampire for what information they could get on this mysterious figure that seemed to be leading the vampire faction known as the Colonel, and what other information they could get. They learned that there was a changeling by the name of Shakes who seemed to be traveling around Atlanta, potentially dispensing some form of chemical or substance to individuals and providing advice. Learned of a werewolf named Jack Cross, and learned that the werewolves seem to see themselves as sort of the supernatural police of Atlanta. And learned that a club off of 78 known as DJ Senties has been known to be frequented by not only Jack Cross but a number of other supernatural creatures, and has sort of drawn an amount of attention for that. And the group decided to group up and meet at DJ Senties for further investigation the next night, having booked a room. But for a moment, we shift forward to a darkened meeting room in the middle of an undisclosed location, as a group of individuals sitting around the table discuss mission files. Well, that doesn't seem like the most eventful first night, although it seems like a particularly rough start. This is why we've been so hesitant to provide group cooperation among the different orders up until this point. Our differing ideals of how to uphold the Vigil create a certain amount of tension. Meanwhile, the voice who seems to have been giving the presentation this entire time responds, "Oh, of course, that's definitely true, but I think you'll find that once the ball started to get rolling, then things started to unfold a little bit faster. They were the first ones to actually get any information out of this traffic jam of a situation. After all, it was only the next night and they were already headed towards this club with a private lounge. Although, if we knew exactly how poorly things were going to go from that point onward, we might have called it the Devil's Lounge." And then we switch over to the group, as all of you, minus Drew, who has not arrived yet. Drew, you have been given a notice from Jonas Orion that the group is meeting up at DJ Senties, the club that you had met him at, to gather further information about supernatural creatures in the area. The group of you all arrive to be greeted with "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" as the DJ announces it as the next song.
Right, so really quick, before we get into this whole investigating, undercover, talking with a werewolf bullshit, whatever we're doing, just so you're aware, me and my brother aren't exactly the best of talkers. At least not in the realm of acquiring information that you can't acquire if you have a gun pointed at people. So I'm just gonna find my way to the bar, get me a drink, and if anything requires separating from one body part or another, give me a call. To the rest of the group, and then I'm gonna start walking towards the bar.
All right.
Paul smiles and says, "Yeah, I think if tonight we could keep the teeth pulling and sunlight threatening to a minimum, it might be best."
No promises.
And he looks over. He is going to wait until he's called for that, right? He's not going to do that proactively.
Oh, he usually gives it at least a little bit of fair warning before he starts jumping into the deep end of the pool.
The concerning part is you said usually.
Well, I mean, he's got an element of situational awareness, and if he notices a threat and delineates it as such, he's likely to respond in a way. But no, he's got all your backs, and I'll make sure he's apprised as to what our actual intent is here, and you know that this is more of an information gathering one. He glances over at Astrid, who I assume is standing somewhat nearby.
Mhm.
I'll be the babysitting part of the muscle then.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I buy you a drink?
If you're paying.
Implication was that way, yes. Come along.
So, get to what all of you are doing individually in just a moment. Drew, what is your intent at the moment?
He said I'm arriving after them.
Yeah, so it probably about just a few minutes after they've gone inside, you would arrive outside the.
How much do I know about what I'm supposed to be doing or who I might be meeting?
You've been given the names and contact information for the rest of the cell, which is the group of hunters that you're working with. And you've been told that we're primarily looking out for supernaturals and information that we might be able to gather about potentially the Colonel, who you've been informed is supposedly leading the vampires out of Walton County, and potentially about Jack Cross, who was the werewolf that you noticed Jonas Orion speaking with last time you were both here.
All right. Well, I'll get off whatever bus I took here. Take my, you know what? If we're looking for supernaturals, it's probably smart. Scruffy dog, through an alley, get the seeing eye dog vest off. Let him wait out here. Then I'm gonna head in and sort of angle to go to one of the corner tables like I was before.
All right.
I want to see if they notice me.
Well, for the audience, would you kindly describe your character?
Yeah, sure. Drew looks mid to late 20s. He's got a graying sort of front hair, and fairly, I say fairly long, and then I look at this group of people. Shoulder length hair, and eyes that aren't quite focused on anything. He's dressed probably pretty plainly for a club t-shirt and not jeans, but pants that are kind of the, if I can't get in here wearing jeans, I can get away with these.
The most casual looking of slacks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yoga pack.
Thin, kind of, definitely pretty wimpy looking, all over.
And as you enter this bar, you know you shouldn't stereotype hunters. But there's a pair of Irishmen who kind of stand out. One, they're twins. They're obviously twins as you look at them, as one of them is leading a woman towards the bar to retrieve a drink, and the other one is already at the bar getting a drink. The gruff Irishmen with their stereotypical dirty blonde hair and the thick goatees.
Eamon's red.
Eamon is red. Eamon's is red. But Sean's is definitely the dirty blonde. With the goatees and the looks like they just stepped out of the mafia style of dress. Definitely. And there's something about their bearing that you sort of learned to watch for as a lucifuge. They carry themselves like church hunters.
Right.
They definitely had the bearing of the people who come from the more religious orders. And as you've been informed, there are 2 Irish members of the Malleus Maleficarum, and these 2 stand out as your cellmates.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that stand out to you at the moment. But you imagine if you took enough time to get a look around, you'd notice the rest of them.
Yeah. Not gonna look too carefully right now. Just gonna make my way to the side, see who makes a move.
And what are the rest of you up to?
Could you remind us what Jonas told us about the other member of the group that was going to be meeting us?
You had been informed that Drew is a member of the 666.
Okay.
And that's about all that you know about them.
Okay.
So a large group has gone to the bar. So Nina's like, well, I guess you're with me or not. If you'd rather go get a drink, I can do some mingling. To Paul.
Oh,
You're the only one who didn't wander over to the bar.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think he's there looking around as well, and looks back and says, "Well, it might not be a bad idea for us to wander around separately at first, and then just maybe stay in eyesight and see what we run into. Keep an eye on the room and on the rest of our group, I think."
I mean, I was gonna go find the dark hallway in the back where nobody could see me while we're scouting for monster information. But if you think we should all stay inside of each other, that's an option too.
It does seem to work out very well in the movies.
Tell you what, I'll go man the lounge booth so that we all have a place to meet up and share information, and I'll just sit there and guard it, make sure nobody else takes a seat from us, and just keep a general eye out, shall I?
All right.
Says
Am
Jonas.
I allowed to be amused by the fact that everybody walked over to the bar when I got us a private booth, by the way?
Yes, you're quite allowed to be amused by
Okay.
that.
I
That was my thought too.
I didn't say the bar is where I was going to stop. But
You
go to
didn't
the
ask
bar
me
to
where
get
the
a
booth,
drink.
where the VIP booth that we reserved
No, I didn't.
was. So I assume you went to the bar.
So I'll go find our booth and man.
All right.
And Jonas walks off.
Can we do an initial once over of the bar?
Sure, everyone give me a wits and empathy if you're just taking a general look around.
Sure.
Wits and empathy or wits and composure?
Sorry, wits and composure. Sorry. You are correct.
Can I make that as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Is this eyesight based?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay. And I'm not at that -2.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
2 successes.
1
3.
success.
1 success.
All right. So those of you with 1 success, this is the thing that those of you with 1 success notice. This is the middle of the week and not necessarily the biggest business hour, but this club is packed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would normally expect this to be sort of like the calmer period when everything is sort of just sort of mingling out and there aren't really any crowds yet, but the dance floor is crammed with people. Everyone seems to be into the music, which you find odd because typically, especially when you're a club that says, you know, we do all the different kinds of music, that's difficult to pull off. It's very difficult to make sure that everyone likes the music that is playing right now. Those of you with 2 successes, which I believe is just Eamon.
Yep.
You notice that, but you also notice that. So this club has 2 floors primarily. There's a 3rd floor, but that seems to be security business only, like no customers up there. The first floor is where most of the drinking, the bar, the dance floor, all of the mingling happens. The 2nd floor is where most of the lounges are at, including the one that you guys have. The 2nd floor is a lot quieter, you notice. like there's almost a completely different atmosphere from the first floor to the second floor. The first floor is very energetic. A lot of people in very close quarters, just enjoying each other's presence, enjoying the drinks, getting into the club atmosphere. The second floor seems almost coffee house in its atmosphere. The conversations are quiet, which means that they're easily drowned out by the music. People are having close conversations over drinks, and you all have the true sight on you except for Drew.
Yep.
You can go ahead and while you're looking around, Eamon, go ahead and roll me that true sight, which I believe
That's it's just a resolve roll, right?
resolve plus the number of successes of true sight you had applied to you, which is 1. So resolve plus 1.
Okay, resolve plus 1.
I think I gave the 2 to.
Yeah, Nina has the 2.
Yep. Nope, nothing.
You're not seeing monsters right now.
Just as a point of organization, is the second floor like open to the first floor, like a mezzanine sort of thing, or is it like a literal second floor with a ceiling in between the first and the second?
There's a set of stairs. So this floor has an amount of ground space, and then there is a set of stairs that goes up, and the second floor is almost like a balcony overlooking the first floor.
Okay.
There's sort of like the first floor. There is a ceiling where the dance floor is at that the second floor sits above, but there's also like where the bar and like the entrance area is open to the ceiling.
You can look down, right?
Yeah, you can look down into the first floor from the second floor.
Okay. Cool.
I think that's probably where Paul's going to gravitate at first, heading up in that direction.
I'm sorry, I grab me for a moment. I missed it. Did we get what the 3 successes people got?
Yeah, about to do that. Yeah,
I was going to say before we start running off.
Yeah. So those of you with 3 successes, which is Nina and Phil, or Paul Phillips.
He probably has IDs with both of those on them, so no worries.
Phil Phillips, Phil Paulson.
Phil Paulson.
Yep.
Paulson.
Phil Paulson sounds like a really bad fake name, though. Now, thanks to the Avengers.
I mean, Phil Paulson is Phil Coulson's like agent name.
But those are your 3 successes. You notice what I told the others. You also notice the manager.
Good.
Who is
That's where I was hoping.
on the second floor is very clearly the manager. She has this sort of very well-dressed sort of gunmetal gray suit that buttons up all the way to the neck, but currently has the top 2 buttons open with a plain white shirt underneath. Sort of short pixie cut hair, sort of blonde with sort of black dye at the edge. These sort of gunmetal blue eyes. Steel blue eyes to sort of contrast, but also vaguely match with the color of her suit. Leaning on this sort of ornate black cane with the most garish diamond head, sort of giving off the sort of almost pseudo-regal appearance as she just kind of stands on the second floor and looks down at everything else. Very out of place appearance to go with the style of this club in general.
Is this somebody who, being hooked into this role, I would potentially know?
Go ahead and roll me intelligence and streetwise. Just see if you can recall the name off the top of your head.
That would be 1.
The name Cynthia comes to mind.
Cynthia. Okay.
Ballpark age?
Probably,
if it's discernible.
Probably mid-30s.
Okay.
If you had to take a guess.
Cool.
They also get the resolve true sight roll.
Yeah, if you guys want, any of you can go ahead and roll that resolve in your true sight dots.
All gets resolve plus 1.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Eamon's asking Astrid, so you,
2 successes.
whiskey, vodka? What's your poison?
Vodka.
Fair enough. And he'll go order 2 double vodka crayons.
Paul, you want to go ahead and roll that true side as well?
Yeah, I'm actually embarrassingly I'm trying to find my resolve.
It'll be in the top.
Top first category of attributes.
Oh, of course. Okay. Sorry. Still not used to Hunter. Zero success.
Paul, the true sight that you know is enacted on you doesn't seem to be working for you right now.
Okay.
Nina,
Mm-hmm.
as you look around, the pale skin of at least one of these individuals on the dance club, you feel and know in your mind, not quite certain how you know, you're pretty certain it's probably that magic that the Mulcahy's did earlier, immediately strikes you as undead in nature. Too pale to have the flush of life. This person stands out to you as a vampire. You see it and know it in your heart. But also you see, as you look around the second floor, the glint of fang and the wolfish nature of an individual on the second floor, of a group of individuals on the second floor.
Okay.
And you see a small group of werewolves in a private lounge.
This is not Cynthia, correct?
No, this is not Cynthia. Cynthia seems to be human as far as you can tell.
Okay, cool.
And William, just because I'm getting a drink and I'm basically working sentry, so I'm not looking for anything in particular, but I'm still keeping my eyes open. Can I make that resolve roll?
Go ahead.
Can I use willpower on it?
No.
Okay.
This is just whether or not the true side is revealing anything to you.
That's fine.
You could use willpower on the casting, which I think you did.
No, I didn't
But,
use it on the casting. I have so many dots on the casting.
No.
And I wasn't. One success.
All right, yeah. So again, as you keep your head on the swivel, you also spot the vampire on the first floor, but you haven't really taken a good stock of the second floor to notice the werewolves.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just gonna hang around by the bar and.
I pull out my phone really quick. Just in a super brief description of height, clothes, blah, thing, second floor, doggies.
Is that
So
texting to the group or?
To the group, yes.
So the group text, which you have recently been added to as well, Drew, gets the notification from Nina about the group of werewolves on the second floor.
I'll text.
Oh, shite.
And the
That didn't take her long at all.
And I'll respond on the group text saying that I've also spotted the vampire. Keeping an eye on him, not doing anything.
He's like, give me a few minutes. I'm gonna find out who these people are.
With that description, are the rest of us able to pick them out?
Yeah, with the notice, you can spot them.
Okay.
And I am making my way towards Cynthia. Along the way, I'm just gonna find. Yeah, it's stupid, but that's fine. I am just going to walk by one of the tables that I walk by that has a drink on it. I'm just picking up that drink.
Easy enough. You
Yeah.
just sort of swipe a drink as you walk by.
Yep.
Eamon needs to have a brief conversation with Astrid if we've got time for that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do it.
Sorry, you prefer Astrid, Miss Ashwin? Which would be better for you?
Astrid.
Right then. Is this and you'll notice he has not taken a sip of his drink yet. Is this music at all to your taste? Or do you prefer stuff of a different genre?
This is to my taste.
All right. And he glances down at the alcohol. Well, place seems a bit more popular than you'd expect, honestly. It's like, well, let me know if you start enjoying the music more after you've had a sip or two. And he'll knock back the whole thing. Eamon is very suspicious that this place is actively utilizing some sort of supernatural influence to increase its draw to the clientele, and he's trying to test that now.
All right, she'll go ahead and down hers.
Oh, Jack, you motherfucker.
Did he just no scope it?
I need both Eamon and Astrid to go ahead and roll me a resolving composure.
Is this a reflexive, or is this something I can spend willpower on?
This is reflexive.
Proactively. Okay.
This is reflexive.
For whatever it's worth, William, I am nearby and I do have my true sight functioning. I don't know if I'll
2 successes.
0 successes.
As he mentions that, Astrid, yeah, this music is sort of getting you a little bit amped up. You almost feel like you should be on that dance floor right now.
Okay. Then she'll mention to him, yeah, I actually kind of feel like dancing right now.
Did I get any particular indication one way or the other as far as is something magic going on here, or
roll me your true sight?
Okay. 2 successes there.
With 2 successes, as you knock the drink back, you sort of lick the inside of your mouth. Yeah. Wipe your tongue off. Just a bit of ash on your thumb as you wipe it off your tongue.
Yeah, he's going to follow Astrid to the dance floor.
Do I see them heading off?
Yeah.
Did I notice anything funny about what's going
on? Not particularly from this distance, and not especially because you weren't like interacting directly with them, but you do notice that you're in tune with your brother.
Yeah.
Eamon's noticed something's up.
I look at my drink that I've ordered, and I'm going to scrutinize it.
Roll me wits and composure. Go ahead and add your true sight dot to it.
Composure. Can I spend a willpower on this?
Yes, because you are inspecting directly. Drew, what are you up to? While you're sort of observing, and you've noticed that the 2 Irish brothers have sort of started taking a particular interest in the drinks and the dance floor, and you notice that someone else seems to be taking an interesting approach. You can only assume to be another one of the cell is this particularly well-dressed woman who is, after a brief bit of conversation with someone with a strange glass eye, started to head up.
I would strongly disagree with the very well dressed.
Our portraits aren't exactly 100% accurate, William.
Yeah.
A woman in a leather jacket, a t-shirt that says "I have come to do the devil's work," torn jeans, and steel-toed boots.
Okay, that's actually an important detail.
Yeah,
yes.
That's why I asked, should we introduce or describe ourselves for Aaron's sake?
Sorry, I missed that question.
Paul is fairly well dressed, but also I will point out Paul is as he suggested last time. He's put on one of his large
contacts to cover the glass eye. Okay, yeah.
Would you like us to describe what we look like?
Yeah. So if you guys want to go ahead and describe for Aaron's benefit what your characters all look like.
So,
looks more or less, actually, other than the clothing, more or less like what the picture looks like. Sort of angular features, Hair's a little bit. It's actually sort of like shoulder, a little beyond shoulder length hair. Dark brown with a blonde stripe that runs through it. Like I said, dressed exactly as I just said. Has that definite I'm walking my way through the world and it can move out of the way for me sort of attitude to her. With a cigarette out of one side, not lit, and having just snatched up a drink off a table as making way across the bar.
Sean, shoulder length blonde hair, sort of dirty blonde hair, 5 o'clock shadow that is barely noticeable because it's blonde. Wearing the red vest and white shirt and sort of slacks that you see in the portrait, not wearing the bite guard, with sort of a brown, basically cowboy duster on that is sort of just hanging down either side, with a very large, awkward-looking revolver on his right thigh, because we're in Georgia, and currently sitting at the bar staring at a drink concernedly.
Awkward looking like it looks like it's a weird shape, or awkward looking like he's not used to carrying it so openly?
It's a weird shape. It's like a revolver with a cylinder that's twice as long as it should be. Like the revolving cylinder is twice as long as it should be, and it's a little bit extra.
Right.
Eamon has more ginger hair, shorter cut, whereas Sean has the 5 o'clock shadow. Eamon's got more like 3 days growth, and as he's still wearing a fairly loose fitting bomber jacket that's doing a marginally decent job, probably, of hiding the vest underneath it. Doesn't seem to be carrying any weapons, at least not outwardly, and is following a female to the dance floor, looking like he's probably going to give it his best shot, which is probably not going to be fantastic.
So, this is a stupid lore clarification. I assume that they are aware I was added to the group text.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah. That's
So
that's
as subtly as possible, just sort of under the table, like I'm thumbing through Twitter or something. I'm sending to the text. For anyone familiar with the GTA games, that gif of Trevor going, "I find your T-shirt more than a little offensive."
She takes out, looks at phone, and across the text message comes the middle finger emoji. She downs the drink and keeps going.
Really quick, because it might affect that. What have I seen looking at the drink? I got one success.
Yeah, so as you have a success looking at that drink, as you sort of stare at it for a minute, you're not seeing anything in particular, and then just out of the corner of your eye, as you almost go to look away, you just see this faint swirl of red, and you look back and it's gone.
I send a text. I don't know where in the your T-shirt offends me middle finger oeuvre this text lands, but the text says, "Don't drink the drinks."
Probably right as Nina downs her drink.
No. Nina sees that, looks up, downs the drink, puts the glass, actually holds on to the glass because the glass is a prop right now, and continues on.
Go ahead and roll me that resolving composure.
Okay.
So I definitely had maybe half a glass last night. Did I notice anything then, thinking back?
2 successes.
Tastes a little, but you're fine. That was just 2 successes. Last time you were here, you did not notice anything odd about the drinks.
Cool. Was it this crowded last night?
It was not.
Okay.
I then
Mutter
follow
to
up.
herself.
Things in mind and continuing to do the fake sip thing that you do when you want to be polite to the bartender, but also don't want to pay for more drinks.
I then follow up that text with, "There's something magical in drinks."
Mutters to herself, "Motherfucker, I have self-control. I can handle this," and keeps going.
So were you aiming to just pass by?
No.
You're walking straight forward?
Straight up to her, like the rock star who just believes that every manager, that she's entitled to the time of any manager.
Let's see. How many dots of fame do you have?
2 out of 3, I think, possible.
All right, let me roll a thing here. As you approach, you see her head turn towards you in just a minute, and there's just like the faintest tick, like she wasn't expecting someone to be coming towards her. But she almost immediately recovers, and you think this is someone who's very used to having to
have people suddenly appear around her
to sort of cover her reaction.
As if, yeah.
And she kind of, Miss Sky.
Hi, go up, hug. Cynthia, right? We haven't officially met before, but I've heard so many good things about you.
And Miss Sky, I didn't expect to be visited by such a well-known local musician.
Oh well, I'm trying to keep it low key. We did get a private booth. I did get a private booth for me and some friends, but I'm trying to keep it low key. You know, I don't want to take the attention away from everybody. How it looks like a good night.
Yes, business is going strong. I think Senti's in the booth, so things tend to go well when she's running the show.
Yeah, fair enough. She looks around. Like, so, Cynthia, my friend, let's just say I've got a particular interest in having some experiences tonight. So who would you recommend that would be good?
She kind of looks at you.
I just let her take that however she may think, and I will refine her search parameters for her if she doesn't give me some good options.
She kind of like looks at you and raises an eyebrow for a second. And by experiences, are we talking something casual, perhaps around a table, or something more personal?
I mean, I don't know what you do around tables, but
are you looking for an enjoyment of recreational substance or an enjoyment of recreational persona?
Yes. Hello, I'm a stupid rock star who's going to be perfect prey if you are the kind of person who delivers people to prey.
I would like to point out, just while this is going on, Phil has walked around to the other side, or Paul. Now I'm doing it. Paul's walked around to the other side, and is just sort of, doing that thing where you kind of lean on the balcony like you're looking down, but he's trying to keep an eye on what's going on with Nita and the manager, and to see if anybody else is watching what's going on with the two of them.
Roll me wits and empathy to see if you can read anybody else watching.
Sure. And he will try to, since they've been pointed out to him, try also if he can thread the needle and stay away from the werewolves and the
That's something I should be contesting.
Contesting which?
The looking for people who are watching, because I believe the 3 people I've pinned are the twins and the one with the wine glass.
Yes. If you want to hide that you're watching that conversation, go ahead and roll me manipulation and subterfuge.
All right.
And what am I rolling again? I'm sorry.
Wits and empathy.
With
Okay.
composure.
I'm not good at this, but if you can't beat me, I'm Like, this is the challenge.
He's rolling empathy because he's looking for people who are
right.
watching.
Yeah, sorry.
Not bad.
I got 3.
Nice.
I didn't describe Paul to you, but he has, and that's maybe appropriate. He has hair-colored hair, cropped fairly short, an unremarkable, neatly trimmed beard, middle-aged, unremarkable eyes, Caucasian. He's wearing slacks, brown penny loafers, a blue blazer, and Oxford shirt.
You say hair-colored hair?
Yeah, hair-colored hair, eye-colored eyes.
That is amazing.
Fucking A.
That's how I'm describing all of my NPCs from now on. Eberron people are hair-colored hair and eye-colored eyes.
What color's your hair?
That is
Hair?
We're wearing a clothing fashioned outfit.
Yes.
Described in the way more in the terms of, all right, sir, could you describe what you saw? Well, officer, his hair was hair colored. It's sort of everything.
Very mundane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he looks maybe like he's here, perhaps looking for a kid. He probably looks, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe a little older than the average clientele.
Oh yeah.
And perhaps a little out of place here, but otherwise sort of intentionally unremarkable.
Yeah, hair-colored hair as opposed to I baked you a pie. What flavor? Pie flavor.
Yeah.
Pie flavor. Or coffee flavor. Coffee.
But hair-colored hair, in the way you would describe an NPC, you don't want people to care about because you haven't really thought of a personality for them.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. I mean, the whole point is if you look at our group,
he doesn't stand out.
He is the one who specifically would assume, oh, who's photobombing it in the background?
I'm guessing he's the guy who looks like he was composite built out of an amalgamation of a Sears and a J.C. Penney.
Yeah. You know how when you are playing like a Bethesda game or a BioWare game, you can clearly tell the main characters because the designers spent a lot more time perfectly crafting their faces, and then you run into a guy in a cutscene, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's randomly composed from the facial generator. That's what Paul looks like.
Yeah,
I love it.
But with your 3 successes, you do notice the individual, very plainly dressed, sort of keeping an eye on that conversation from the lower level in one of the corners, just sort of trying to make sure that he's not really standing out, with a phone on the table, just kind of idly looking around.
Okay.
What you also notice with your 3 successes, the werewolves are taking an interest in Cynthia's conversation.
Okay.
yes.
All right, I think he'll text to the group chat, first floor corner table ?
And so that comes across the group chat, and Drew, you get the notice that someone seems to have potentially spotted you from within the group.
When Aaron gets back, we'll get
Yeah,
Drew's
when
reaction.
Aaron gets back. Yeah. But while that's happening, Cynthia, well, there's a number of people who might be interested in a fun night and maybe a fun thing to smoke. But are you looking for anyone in particular? Any particular flavor you're interested in?
And at that point, since Cynthia is not presenting any new options, which was sort of the off chance, she'll look around and she will specifically point out Fangboy and happen to glance up. She's pointing out the supernatural. What can you tell me about him and them?
So, as you point out the vampire, yes, Jack Williams. He's a bit of a regular, likes to show up have a drink and enjoy the company of the individuals on the dance floor. He seems to be a bit of a pickup artist. I think if you're looking for entertainment for the night, he probably won't be too resistant, especially as someone as well known as you are.
Okay.
As for the other ones, well, that's Jack Cross's group. He's a dour sort. He seems to come here mostly for the atmosphere and the loud noise, to have conversations and drinks. Seems to enjoy the beer. I don't think I've ever seen him properly enjoy himself on the dance floor. I don't think you'll have much luck with him if that's what you're looking for.
Have
I mean,
Cross
there's a
and his
lot of
buddies
stuff that
noticed?
you don't have to be on the dance floor to do. And in fact, a lot of stuff that is easier to do off the dance floor.
Well,
But-
yes, he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would enjoy that in general. Too business.
Fair enough. Well, I appreciate that. I will put slide 820 just into her pocket, and I hope you have. I might come by and see you again later. And
It's a pleasure to know that you're visiting our establishment, Miss Sky.
I wouldn't miss it. As I walk away, pull out my phone, and text all pretty much verbatim what was said.
Did Cross and his buddies notice that they were being pointed out?
Yes, especially because they were definitely watching that conversation. They definitely noticed when Nina indicated their group with her conversation gestures.
Does the name Jack Williams mean anything to me?
Not
in relation to the
particularly.
vampire?
Not particularly.
I'll just, once the information is passed along, I'll send it. I'm keeping an eye on Jack, and I will, assuming that everyone else is dealing with everything else. I'm just gonna spend my time sitting at the bar, watching the crowd, particularly watching Jack, until we get called to meet up somewhere.
Everybody okay? That was
I think that was something falling over at Aaron's place.
Yeah.
Sorry, I desperately needed food.
It's all right.
No, I mean, as long as you're okay, everything's good. I just wanted to make sure that was not a bad noise.
Nina will give it about, send that off. Give it about a minute. See if there's any typing that comes through. Anybody's responding. And if not, we'll come back with, well, we came here to find leads. We've got 2 types of leads.
Yeah, I think
my part is pseudo done.
Paul is actually going to try to meander along and get closer to Jack Cross's table, coming from the direction behind them, if that's possible. And I apologize if I'm picturing it incorrectly up here. But
they're in sort of a booth seat, so you could probably come up behind half of them.
Okay. Are there any tables or anything nearby? Any seats? Non-booths, but picturing open tops with a couple stools around them.
Yeah, there's probably a few like open tables that are nearby.
Okay. He'll sit down, and if there's one of those stands on the table, he's going to sit down and do just the absolute nerdiest thing possible and pick that up and start reading it with apparent interest.
Just start reading the stand.
Yeah, like, oh, well, let's see what they have on tap. Oh,
That stand.
So many microbreweries. But at the same time, we'll be kind of keeping...
This is Georgia. There are no microbrews.
Go ahead and roll me a wits and composure.
Sure. Dice don't fail me now. 1. And I think it would only be if they try anything particularly wolfy, but do remember that the eye messes with that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do have the Eye of Hubris.
Eye of Hubris.
So as you're sort of just kind of glancing out of the corner of your eye, kind of keeping an eye out on Jack Cross's group while you are sort of perusing the menu, you notice that Jack Cross has definitely noticed you. You see sort of like out of the corner of his eye, he kind of looks over towards you for just a minute and goes back to conversation with his other people. It's really hard to pick up the conversation itself because of the loud noise of the music. But you definitely pick up the pair of words, another one, that slowly drift up. That one was said a little bit louder, almost as if it was supposed to be heard.
Okay.
While I'm watching Jack Williams, I don't know if you want me to make, but I'm basically seeing if he is hunting for prey right now, and if he's locked on to anybody.
Roll me a wits and empathy.
Hasn't, he's about to.
So good at the combination of one success.
So at the moment, what you can tell is that he's sort of being that douchebag on the dance floor who's just trying to find a girl who's open to him. Which you also notice that Eamon and Astrid are headed towards the dance floor, and Astrid is sort of enjoying herself, just kind of having a bit of a just having a good time on the dance floor at the moment, just sort of enjoying herself, not really paying too much attention to anything right now. Whereas Eamon is just kind of giving it his best shot, but being very reserved and sort of keeping an eye on everything.
I'll reiterate this when Jack gets back, but I will sending out a text note to the group text, but noting Eamon to keep an eye on Williams. Looks like he's out hunting.
And I think when that buzzes, Paul pulls out his phone and says, well, let me recheck Yelp. And we'll type in type in our furry friends know that we're here.
To all of that, Nina just responds, "Watch my back," and continues on, grabs another drink off the table, and is beelining across the dance floor towards our vampire.
Watching.
All right.
Are the werewolves pointedly ignoring Paul at this point, or are they coming out in his direction or paying more attention to him?
So it's at this point, Nina, as you are headed for the vampire, Paul, as you are watching the werewolves, the rest of you as you are variously on the dance floor watching everything else, that there is an audible crash from one of the back rooms and a scream.
Paul stands up and says, I knew Yelp was wrong, and we'll is everybody else sort of responding appropriately to that, or are there people who are not responding as one would expect a room full of people to respond to a crash?
The people on the dance floor don't seem to have noticed.
Okay.
In fact, Astrid doesn't seem to have noticed. The rest of the people, including Jack Cross and his group, like as soon as that crash happens, before the scream even happens, everyone at that table's head just turned on a swivel.
Okay. Paul is sort of. Can I see anything from where I am, or is it too occluded by the second floor?
You can sort of see down onto the first floor where it came from. It looks like a back room, probably leading like into the kitchens or like into the areas around the back, where like the entrance to the back alley would be, with like where they would toss the trash out, where they would have like extra stores and kitchen stuff.
I'm gonna very pointedly start moving towards the front door. When we were outside, did it seem like there was a way to get around back easily, or would I have to walk the entire block to get around to the back? I don't know where in this block of club it is we're at right now.
It's a series of buildings that have sort of walkways connecting them, so you could theoretically, at one of those open air walkways, you could just circle around the back of the building. So it'd probably just be like a minute or two.
Okay. On the group text, checking that out. Eamon, keep an eye on. Eamon, keep an eye on Nina. And I'm going to basically go out front and around back rather than just rushing back through the kitchens.
All right.
Paul's getting up and trying to look like a rubbernecker and just see if he can get a better view, but also keep an eye on what other people are doing.
Nina is gritting her teeth because the instinct is turn and head towards that fucking door, and continuing on her plan.
All right. Drew, what are you up to? You're muted.
Aaron, you're muted.
You're muted.
You said others on the dance floor don't seem to have noticed, right?
Yeah, the people on the dance floor don't seem to have noticed.
Okay. Other people sitting down, what are they up to?
There's not a lot of people that are currently sitting down, but of the groups, a couple of them seem to have noticed and are having various reactions. The people that you've been noted as werewolves have immediately, like, just as soon as they started heard it, laser focused on where it's coming from and seem to be intent on paying attention to it. A couple other people heard it and reacted to it and are sort of waiting to hear if it continues, like if it's actually a problem or if somebody just dropped something.
All right. I'm gonna sort of pull out my cane and start heading out.
And Sean, as you head out the front door, you walk past a particularly shaggy dog that is just sort of sitting outside and waiting, sort of just laying on the ground with his paws crossed in front of it and its head sitting on the paws.
With my true sight currently active, what does it look like to me?
It definitely smells of hellfire and brimstone.
And things get awkward right off the bat with this group.
I see it. I smell it. Right. Lucifuge. And I continue around the back.
At least you had true sight and didn't assume it was a tertiary werewolf hanging out back.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm heading around to the back door of wherever the sort of like the kitchen deliveries.
Yep. So, as you sort of circle around back, Nina, as you head around, you hear that scream up again, and this time there's a clang of like metal hitting something. And as you circle around the back,
not heading around.
Sorry,
It's not heading around.
Nina, as you're heading for the vampire.
Straight up to vampire, yes.
Yeah, as you're heading for the vampire, Sean, as you're heading around, you hear that scream again, the sound of metal whacking something. Sean, as you circle around the back, you find a disheveled-looking humanoid individual, sort of staggering back through the hall, looking for all the world like a drunk, but to your looking like a drunk being like shoved out of the back by kitchen staff who are completely surprised to see him stumbling in the door, like someone just smacked him with a frying pan and shoved him out of the way. To your true sight, that's one of the Walking Dead. That is a zombie.
Aha! I'm going.
So
Okay.
was it one of the staff that screamed then?
Yes, as far as Sean can tell.
Know
Does
that.
it
character,
does it seem like it's bitten or attacked anyone yet, or does it seem like it's just trying to get in and they've sort of shoved it out?
It definitely seemed like it was trying to get in, and the staff reacted with a scream and a frying pan.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk up and I'm just gonna grab it by the shoulders and just sort of like tug it back away. And I'm going to the entire time. Oh, hang on, now I've got to improv. All right, there, boy. Let's get you out of here. You've probably had just one too many drinks, and I'm gonna just try to pull him out and away and into the alley, away from the kitchen staff, so they can close the door. And
Roll me manipulation and subterfuge.
yeah, not my strong point. I'm more of a shoot it first, let the church sort it out later kind of guy. I'm gonna spend a willpower on this.
Go for it.
That way I have more than 2 dice. On
4 successes.
On 5 dice, I got 4 successes.
I mean, so I mean, you're an Irishman. You still have like you covered it up, but you still have like the faint look of a priest on you.
Yeah, the collar's still there.
The collar's still there
Because it's a neck bite guard.
So the kitchen staff who's leaning out the back sort of like spots you and just, oh, thank God, just can you get him out, please? Just
I sort of wave to him like I've got him, and I'm just gonna drag him over into the alleyway, put my pistol into his chin and fire.
Jesus.
Once he's out of sight and they've got the door closed, not like right in front of them.
yeah, the door.
Because that what kind of firearm?
I was gonna say because you totally have a silencer on that thing, right?
I don't have a silencer. His head will be the silencer.
Vaguely.
No, that's not how that works.
Not how that works at all.
Not how that works at all. But I'm
Do the rest of us hear the gunshot, or is the music too loud?
So,
I'm hoping the music's too loud. Is basically what I'm
Roll me an attack roll. His defense is not applying because you have the gun pressed to his head, and he's not that great at resisting right now. In fact, +1 for your point blank pressed to his head.
Chin. I'm under the
Yeah.
So I probably hear this because I was headed out in the same direction, right?
Yes.
It didn't. It did the thing that it does.
Could do it again. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what you get, Mr. 4 successes off 5 dice.
Yep.
4 successes on 5 dice. 2 successes on a lot more.
10.
10 dice.
10 dice.
Jeez.
So
Cold shot to the head.
yeah. Which I wasn't applying the penalty for because again, he's
Oh wait,
not
sorry.
really-
I actually rolled that wrong. Because it's shotguns. I actually get 9 agains.
Oh, sure.
But you
go
don't
ahead.
have any 9s
I
in
didn't
there.
get any 9s,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter. But I
Go
didn't
ahead.
roll it wrong.
Why not?
It's 2 dice. Go through it.
No, go ahead and roll it again. Why not?
All right.
I'm curious.
Still 2 damage.
Destiny decides.
Still 2 damage.
Glorious!
Excellent stuff.
Bobby Roode level glorious
I
right
liked it.
there.
And not only was it still 2 successes, the 2 successes were both ones that rolled again.
Yeah.
On the
Yep.
last one they were both
And-
10s, and on this one they were both 9s.
Nice. So the gunshot goes off as the shotgun shell blasts through his lower jaw. And his lower jaw just kind of dislodges and slacks down, but he's not dead. In fact, he moves to try and bite into you.
Yep.
As the rest of you hear through the music and the walls the dull report of a gunshot. Drew, a lot more clearly because you had just stepped outside, you hear the report of a gunshot.
Shite. And Eamon's gonna grab Astrid by the wrist and just
Really quick,
deck
Jack.
out for the closest door.
Really quick, Jack. You've missed some information since you've been gone.
Okay.
Nina was heading towards the vampire on the dance floor.
Right.
I had previously texted that the vampire was out hunting and that I was keeping an eye on it. We heard some noise in the kitchen, and I went around back to check on it. And while I went around back to check on it, I texted, "Going to check that out. Eamon, keep an eye on Nina."
Oh, okay.
Whether or
Oh,
not,
and-
so that may affect.
And the
Okay.
werewolves.
If not, it's fine.
Yeah, and Paul has noted that the werewolves know we're here.
I
Right.
don't know if you.
Behind am I? Because I started heading out at the same time when we heard the screaming.
Yeah, so you're probably just literally around the corner watching this exchange go down.
Yeah, Paul doesn't move until he hears the gunshot.
Yeah.
Nina will just text really quick once the shotgun goes off. Go.
What's your defense and your armor, Eamon?
My defense is 2-3.
Or Sean, rather?
My armor is 2-3. And I've got neck guard, a fang buster, which means that if he's trying to bite me on the neck, it's plus
Which he's
3
not.
defense.
He's not trying to bite you on the neck. He's trying to bite anywhere.
Yeah.
So your armor is 2.
And what's your defense as well?
Defense?
My defense is. Sorry. Yeah, that's not right.
It's the lowest
Yeah,
of your dexterity or your wits.
Yeah.
Lowest of your dex and wits, and if you're wearing a bulletproof vest, it's subtracted 1.
Okay, so yeah, then 1. It is 1.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so -3 to his roll,
Mhm.
which makes it real bad. But with 1 success, you take 1 point of bashing damage as his teeth sink into your arm.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's dead. He's dead. Kill him now.
I can heal that. Actually, no, I can't, but Eamon can.
And everyone, how are you reacting to this point? Drew, you have just seen him attempt to finish off this person. You don't have true sight, so you can't tell it's a zombie, but you can tell that it just took a shotgun shell to the face and then just tried to bite back. So you can make assumptions.
Well, yeah, there's a few things that can do that. I mean, I've really only got one thing that's got any shot at working and has any range to it. So, yeah, I'll sort of step around the corner and try and conjure some hellfire to burn this thing.
Excellent.
I approve.
Costs the willpower. And
Is anyone else coming outside other than our group?
Yeah. So you, as you're looking around, Paul, you notice Jack sort of makes a hand gesture towards the rest of his group and stands up and starts moving downstairs.
presumably I have a fair amount of head start on any of these people.
Yes,
I mean,
you are definitely
you're
the first
out,
one.
You're out there, so
Yeah, everyone else is starting to move.
everyone's still.
Dex is 2, intelligence is which is why I want to do this now before I can't do it because there's people around. So it's minus his defense. What's his defense?
1.
Hopefully this rolls right.
How loud is the dance floor right now?
Pretty loud. Like,
Okay.
even through the music on the walls, the gunshot sounded like a pop.
Okay, 1 success. I thought it was also going to roll the description, but for a single success,
So let's
We're in the middle of the violin. So.
yeah.
Okay.
we're in the middle of the magically influenced violin solo. It really should say something.
1 point
about
of lethal damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless the target
So does-
naturally suffers aggravated damage. fire like
Yeah. It's aggravated pretty much regardless, and I suffer 1 point damage too.
Just for the visual, because I'll want to know for later, how does Drew manifest Hellfire?
Yeah, so this fairly plain looking, if Jason Todd was incredibly skinny, guys. Seriously, that's a lot of the character art I went through was just pictures of him.
This is probably me being more of my character than I care to admit. Who is that?
The second Robin, Red
Okay.
Hood.
The one with the white swoop and the Robinness.
Okay. Okay.
Tries to murder people all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So just sort of steps around the corner. This sort of black flame in his eyes that sort of shoots out, successfully burning this thing and just leaving the faintest scorch marks around the face.
You sort of have like this black mask of scorch marks around the outside of your eyes.
Hot.
Cyclops.
Only with
Not
only with
Hey,
demon fire.
not heat
I
beam.
feel like there's a lot of better.
Specifically
I
not
would go. If we're doing that, I would go more how Raven looks when she's doing the thing in Teen
Yep.
Titans.
Yeah.
Not the new show. I still haven't seen that one yet. But in
Well,
the-
you should.
Planning on it.
But the zombie, as you're sort of like headlocking this zombie with your gun pressed up to its lower jaw as it tries to bite down on you, you see this black flame surge in from your peripheral vision, slam into its torso as it immediately catches fire.
Seriously,
Still holding on
slightly-
to it because I need to hold it in place.
It's
yeah.
still moving.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought that did a lot more damage than it did.
It does if you roll more than one success,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So inside the club, yeah, Nina just to the group text just texted go, and then is walking right up to Mr. Williams and just starting to like it's one of those I'm going to dance with you're going to dance with me now.
I have chosen you.
Yep. Arms
Aim-
around neck.
Eamon leans forward towards Astrid's ear. All right, we're protecting the rock star now, love. Try and not draw too much attention and keep your eyes out. And he is moving through. He has stopped dancing and he's just moving through the crowd straight towards Nina as fast as he can. He's not going to engage or interrupt what she's doing, but he's definitely making a presence.
All right, Astrid, go ahead and roll me another resolve and composure.
Okay.
I'm firing a second.
Go ahead and do that.
Yep.
0 successes.
You're kind of still more interested in dancing than doing whatever he's talking about right now.
Okay, just gonna ignore him then.
What are my modifiers? -1 for defense.
No, +1 because he's not in any position to defend against you right now.
3 damage that time.
There you go. So this time the shot goes off and splatters the brains of this zombie across the back wall. Right as an individual in a well-appointed sort of pinstripe suit.
Oh boy.
With a long black tie and a claw mark across the left side of his face, steps out and sort of turns the corner and sees you and sees the thing that you're dealing with, and doesn't spot Drew because Drew's in the right spot to not be noticed.
The person that I had seen the previous night.
Is this one of the werewolves?
From what you can tell, yes.
Is it Jack Cross?
It is for you who were watching them leave. This is actively Jack Cross. Yes.
Well, I did. I hope this doesn't change anything, but there is one thing I would want to do while Cross and the werewolves are moving past where Paul is. And
It's actually just Cross.
okay.
The werewolves are staying inside.
I'm gonna try to pick his pocket.
Go ahead and roll me dexterity and larceny.
And I have a specialization in pickpocketing.
All right.
In the New World gives you an extra dice?
Yeah, 1 extra die. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So do I do that as just a +1?
Yeah, just do that as a +1.
I do, yeah, as a +1, yeah.
All right. 1 success. So if I had more, I was going to try to actually grab something, but with 1, I'm just hoping I can drop a coin into his pocket.
Give me 1 second. So he doesn't notice you, but you don't get the opportunity to drop a coin in his pocket as you try and reach over. He's moving way too fast. Like you try and get the opportunity, but you have that instinct to not give yourself away.
Sure.
And so as you're trying to reach, he's moving too fast, and if you tried to actually drop something in, he would definitely notice. So you just kind of pull back.
Can I burn a willpower?
Not normally, but in this particular case, I'll say yeah. Just go ahead and roll me 3 more dice.
Okay.
And see if you can get an extra success.
All right. One more.
One was all you needed. So yeah, with that extra success, you do manage to just sort of as you're pulling away, and then you're like, no, go for it, and then you drop the coin in his pocket, and he doesn't seem to notice as he walks through.
Okay. All right.
Hello there.
Marked off the willpower.
So looking up at the werewolf, whose name I don't know, because I don't know which one it is. Hello there, Wolfie. Nothing to see here. Just a little bit of a grubber that didn't want to stay dead the first time he died.
So I can tell.
Was harassing the folk in the kitchen. I figured I'd probably do him a solid and get rid of him. I say, sort of dropping the body and standing up and looking at the werewolf, not like I'm going to fight, but like I'm not going to be intimidated.
He kind of straightens his tie out a little bit, sort of loosens the collar of the shirt. Well, could have done it a little bit more cleanly, don't you think?
That's right, but for some reason I went Scottish. I was trying to, but little bugger's a little bit weak, a little bit scrappy.
With a shotgun, really?
My other option was 50 caliber rifle, but it doesn't quite work as well.
Who even are you?
Sean Mulcahy, pleasure to meet you. I say holding out a hand towards him.
Fantastic.
He walks up, looks you up and down for a minute, stares you directly in the eye. You see that sort of canine nature to his eyes. They look like wolf eyes. He kind of looks you in the eye for a second.
Especially to me, because I can see his.
Yeah. Jack Cross, he says, and he shakes your hand. You wouldn't happen to be a friend of one Jonas Orion, would you?
Fact I would, yes.
Well, I appreciate the help, but understand we don't need too much of a scene around here.
Oh, no worry. I'll get rid of the body. No worries.
Why don't you let me take care of that?
Like? While we're here, you wouldn't happen to know what's drawing these buggers into the city, would you? I say, kicking the zombie.
That's a conversation we'd best have in a less open environments, if you want to follow me back to my booth.
Sure.
After I deal with this fella.
Am I correct in picturing that inside Paul is just sort of sitting and smiling awkwardly at the table full of the rest of the werewolves?
Yeah, basically.
Sure. Do you mind if me brother listens in on this particular conversation?
brother.
Yeah. We're a pair.
All right.
Can we cut to where Eamon is now standing about equidistant from Astrid and Nina, just kind of looking back and forth, and then goes and just tries to bodily drag Astrid off the dance floor because she's obviously under the influence of some shit.
I just like the image of Eamon all right, one of these two is spiritually affected by the music, and the other is grinding on a vampire knowing that it's a vampire. What the fuck have I got myself into?
The idea that there's some poor person that's not drinking because there's the designated driver or something that's trying to make sense of this. Like, okay, you brought your two girlfriends and they're both really drunk.
Right?
There's just some rando who has no idea what's going on.
Speaking of, go ahead and roll manipulation and subterfuge, Nina. And Drew, what are you up to while this conversation is happening?
So yeah, as soon as that seems to be a conversation and the werewolf's attention seems to be places, I'm slipping sort of back around front to wherever usually there's a agreed upon, if not explicitly designated, smoker zone outside of a club.
Yeah, there's specifically a smoking sign.
There's also a large panel, windowless white panel van with a artistic rendition of Mary, Mother of Jesus, on the side of it with Our Lady of Lourdes in text along it.
That's not something I'm looking too closely at, and I'm really like.
And it is.
It is the tackiest of Catholic airbrush jobs.
Yeah,
William, since you specifically said through Cynthia that Nina being who she is might actually benefit, can I add fame to this?
Yes, go ahead and add your 2 dots of fame. Just
All
roll an extra 2 dice and see
Yep.
if you get more successes.
Let's see. That
Pulling out a cigarette, probably have my dog with me by now. Might have slipped the vest back on.
okay. Still 2.
Yeah.
Look at all those fucking 7s, by the way.
I know, right?
It just
No.
looks.
Jesus Christ.
You've definitely picked up the vampire's interest with your very forward display.
Good.
And
My entire goal with this is basically distracting, keeping this fucker here, not eating somebody else, because I've got backup if he decides that he's hungry, and trying to keep him from at some point running away if the furballs get hairy or if something else goes on. So yeah. I am trying to present myself as, ooh, look at me. I probably taste good.
and you're definitely doing that.
Wonderful.
He's got his attention laser focused on you right now. And you can imagine one of the thoughts in his head is, I wonder what famous blood tastes like.
If I can step around the corner while and send a quick text message while Cross is dealing with the body. I'm texting to the group that I've got an invitation to sit down with Jack Cross. Paul, you're my brother now.
Okay. So Paul will look at that and sort of sigh and look over at the table and say, "Oh, well, I'm fucking relieved to hear that went well outside." And see if there's any response, because he's clearly addressing this now directly to the
werewolves.
Yeah.
The 3 of them look at you suspiciously, but don't say anything because you imagine they don't have instant lines of communication unless Jack is also texting them, which he might not be.
And say, well, I just got a message from outside that my brothers have been talking to your friend out there.
One of them looks at you and just kind of scowls. You see sort of like the glint of teeth.
Oh, come on. There's no need for that sort of thing. You know, there's a disturbance outside. Stout-hearted people go to work.
We'll see about that, he says as he goes back to his drink.
Then I'll follow Jack back
Yeah,
inside.
so Jack, as you're sort of looking at him, kind of looks at the body, kind of cracks his knuckles for a minute, sets his jaw, looks around, make sure there's nobody immediately watching, looks over the back wall where it leads into the forest.
He just shot put this corpse.
Yeah, he sort of grabs the corpse, fireman's carry style, leaps over the back wall in one bound, disappears for 20 seconds, leaps back over the wall, and sort of straightens out his jacket, straightens out his tie.
You know, it would save me so many trips to the corner store if I could.
It's a little bit of a trick you learn when you're a protector of Gaia, he says as he walks past you.
I'll follow him.
Paul, you spot you spot Sean returning with Jack Cross as the two of them head up the stairs to head back to the booth.
Okay.
Clap a hand on Paul's shoulder as I walk past, and then do the hand clap, hand wave to sort of indicate to follow.
Okay. I'll return the same and actually, I guess I'm up near the table unless Jack is taking you somewhere else.
Yeah, the same table that you were that the other three were at.
Hello there, everybody. Again, Paul, Sean here. This is my brother Paul. Don't mind him. He got beat with the ugly stick when we were young. Anyway.
Oh, it's true. So he may deal with all the good looks, but I got all the brains.
So, as business being business, just so we're out in the clear, just around trying to keep people safe. Threat, I don't consider you a threat. But I am concerned about the fact that lots of those little buggers, I say indicating to the back where the thing, have been coming into the city as of late, and wondering if you might know what's been bringing them in.
That's a question we've been looking for the answer to for a while now, and we've been looking for ways that we might be able to solve it for good. And I'm thinking, all things being equal, you want to protect people, so do we. And we've got a little bit of a stake. And we've got rumors of something that you might be able to help us find. And if you help us find it, we might be able to solve at least a bunch of this problem.
I'm all ears.
Paul just leans in to listen.
So, how good's your Norse mythology?
I look to Paul.
Well, it's been a while, but probably a fair shake. Where are we starting from?
You heard of the great wolf Fenrir?
Of course, that's something I understand at least some of your lot are pretty big on. Think they're descended from him, even.
So,
If Fenris involved, we're all dead. They're just gonna kill everything.
I love the editorial from the Experience World of Darkness vets.
It's nice. It does. It brings, especially the face palming that happens whenever
Right.
I introduce myself by name and shake the hand of a werewolf.
I mean, Nina would go and get involved, but she isn't checking her phone right now because it's currently pressed between her thigh and the corpse's crotch. So
Yeah.
So, there's an artifact that we'd very much like to get our hands on, and I think having a couple extra ears and eyes looking out for it might do good. It's an artifact called the Fetters of Fenrir.
All right, I'm immediately going to check my mental database to see if that sounds familiar.
Go ahead and roll me intelligence and occult.
Me too. I will imagine that I have enough dice to make it successful.
Do I get a bonus for the either professional training or my conspiracy dots?
As an Aegis Kaidoru, yes, you can add your professional training.
Okay, great.
I got 1 success.
I also have 1, amazingly.
I mean, so from Norse myth, the fetters of Fenrir are unbreakable bonds that were made of ribbon that were able to tie down the raging beast Fenrir. Tyr lost his hand over those, but you know.
I've heard the stories that they're the sort
Did
of
the
thing.
cameras just get messed up, John?
Yep, they did.
Do you want to go on
No,
break?
it's fine. It'll take me a second to fix it.
Okay, cool. Go on, Craig.
It's they're the sort of things that are supposed to hold apocalypse in check, right? Or at least a sizable portion of it.
Something like that, yeah.
But they're real, you're saying, and they're here in town?
Sources are telling me that the fetters are around here somewhere.
Well, that's certainly the sort of thing that would explain all the interest from, shall we say, the alternatively normal.
And no one really knows what the fetters the full extent of what they can do. But stories say that they can permanently rein in the rage of inherently violent creatures. Which means you can pacify your enemies, and if you got some powers that are a little more loose cannon, you might be able to get better control on those, if you can learn how to use the fetters.
Well, we wouldn't mind keeping an eye on the streets and an ear to the ground, looking for these fetters for you, but we would like to ask you another question. Mind?
Sure.
Looking for...
I understand an eye for an eye.
Looking for a bloke...
Paul coughs.
We're looking for a bloke operating out of Walton County. Calls himself the Colonel. He's
at the mention of the Colonel, you hear like the sort of low growl sort of emanate from the throats of the other werewolves, and Jack kind of puts a hand down.
I open my coat a bit and pull out a steak and twirl it in my fingers. Well, we're in agreement there. Put it back in. He's been sending some of his lot into the city as well. We're hoping to find him and ask a few questions.
Let's just say the Colonel likes to mix with old blood. He's not exactly somebody who is polite company to civilized folk who don't like hatred and terms I wouldn't use in polite company.
Are you saying we're going to find him on some sort of plantation?
Potentially plantations, and I hear he's from Germany.
Do I need to roll to see if I know in character that the Get of Fenris have traditionally pretty strong German ties?
Go ahead and roll me occult again.
Okay.
Is there anything I can
Oh,
roll?
and just in case it becomes relevant, as soon as the Paul, you're my brother now comes across text, Eamon immediately responds with activating Stockholm strategy.
So yes, you do know that a lot of the Get are from Scandinavia and Germany.
Okay. Can I tell, and I'm sure this is a separate role, but any indications, probably not stupid enough to have them visible, but any indications, tribe tattoos, anything else to indicate what tribe these werewolves might be?
Not really.
Okay.
Not visible.
Right. So I think I'll just go for it then. So Paul will say, any sort of tie coming from Germany to your more Aryan companions? We've already been talking about Fenris and and his Get.
I say he's from the part of Germany that I wouldn't want to call my heritage.
Other parts of Germany that you do call your heritage?
Some of my folk do.
Are you well,
That aren't invited to family gatherings anymore.
I'll just cut right to the heart of it. If you don't mind, I'd like to know what sort of Garu we're doing business with.
If you're asking tribes, you're real educated from someone who isn't one of the kinfolk.
Consider me an interested observer.
Some of my crew are from the Get. Some of the crew are from the Uktena. People who live here, people who didn't live here.
Can I again, if it's a roll, fine, but and I also don't know this out of character. But I would assume the Aegis and the Uktena probably have contrasting interests sometimes in obtaining artifacts.
Yeah, the problem is you have similar interests, and both of those interests include keeping those things from other people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would assume there's a lot of proprietary squabble, shall we say, over.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being so forthcoming. If you don't mind my asking, what is it exactly that you all intend to do with it once it's recovered?
Well, I'm sure Jonas has told you that we like to keep the peace around here among the less normal things.
He certainly did indicate that he trusted you all enough to work with you.
And if we could get our hands on the fetters, well, conflict resolution in one tiny package.
Can't argue with that. And I mean, I think the first time he said that they could be used to restrain beings made of anger, I think whatever the Aegis equivalent of dollar signs were went off in Paul's eyes, because that's
just a giant neon light sign above his head that just flashes saying relic.
Well, also, I mean, relic that specifically could be used to contain werewolves. Yes, please.
Right. Well, I think this will be a very valuable partnership. As a miming raising a drink.
Glad to be working with those who keep the vigil themselves.
It's been a pleasure.
Speaking of drinks, you all know you shouldn't be drinking those, right? Or is that something that your sort doesn't need to worry about?
Yeah, I wouldn't tell mundanes to imbibe anything from the bar downstairs.
Paul looks pointedly at the dance floor and then back up. We'll make sure to keep that in mind.
Has Eamon managed to get Astrid out of the crowd yet?
We'll say by this point, yes. And Astrid, you can go ahead and roll me Resolving Composure again, +2 this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna
3 success.
Okay, yeah. After Eamon has forcibly pulled you off the dance floor, you're able to sort of get your focus back and regain your composure.
Feeling all right there, then?
That was fun. You don't know why you were stuck like that, but that was fun.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Somewhere back up the text chain, there is a text from Sean saying, "Don't drink the drinks. There's magic in them."
Great. Well, if you got your head back in the Hurley now, we're going to have to run her upstairs and see what her friends have gotten into. We'll keep an eye on Nina from here as best we can, but they're apparently having a bit of a tete-a-tete with some of our Lupin comrades or some. I want to be up there and see what's going on.
Sure. Yeah, let's check it out.
And as far as you're concerned, my name is Sven Torviksson.
Oh my god.
So, because I might know what you meant Eamon,
You would know what I meant.
what was the text about?
Oh, he's basically since you've established somebody else as your brother, I'm coming in as a Swede.
Got it.
Okay.
I just want to point out that with no additional context, Drew pinned you, the person who can't see, pinned you two as twins when you walked in the door.
I didn't say this was a good plan. It's just his default plan.
As we're done talking, I will send a text out. I don't know again where it will fall, saying meet outside.
And so at this point, Nina, your fanged friend seems to be trying to lead things to a more private locale. What are you doing?
Which direction of private? Out the front door or into the back?
Out the front door.
How far of a walk is it from the front door to the back? And are there members of my posse here between those 2 points?
It's about 30 seconds, and there's
Eamon's down there still.
Yeah, Eamon's still down there.
Okay. I will pull back just like, parting so that you can move, because it's hard to walk when you yeah.
Yeah.
Let him take the lead. And then behind his back, what am I doing, people? Is a text.
Do Astrid and I still have eyes on Nina?
Yes.
Okay.
Information source, is this just my opening salvo and we'll catch him later?
I don't know if are we still in the middle of talking with Cross at this point?
Yeah, you guys are currently in conversation with Cross.
Yeah, so there's not gonna be anything from
as
Paul.
much as I would like to respond, I don't think Paul is making his
Legit.
Eamon will stop mid maneuver to go upstairs and kind of gesture to Astrid with a jerk of the head. Actually, we're going this way now, and sort of draft up behind Nina, probably a good 5-10 yards buffer.
There's a text. If you had the front and need it, I can pull you out. Y/N.
There was a request for what we're doing. I don't know if Eamon's just
yeah, I know. There was a request for what it was doing, and nobody has given her a direction yet. So the response is question mark.
I don't know why you guys are here. I'm trying to be helpful.
Has Nina, have you noticed Astrid and I behind you, or do you think you haven't? Okay. He'll just give you a keep moving kind of gesture.
Nod. And go.
So he sort of leads you
hanging off his back, etc.
Yeah, he sort of leads you around a corner towards one of the more secluded alleyways.
Cool.
It's at this point he's sort of been sweet talking you the whole time with his sweet talking in the way that a pickup artist thinks he's sweet talking.
Right. It's adorable.
And it's roughly at this point when he seems to believe that he's found a suitable, secluded location that you don't have to be a psychic or know a whole lot about vampires to guess what's coming next.
All right. I am just assuming that I still have backup. So at this point, the Aspeton extends. And a vampire upside the head.
Yeah. As soon as we make it outside and are no longer in direct eye line of anybody looking at us, Eamon's slipping a hand behind his back and doing invoking the wrathful sword of Saint Michael the Archangel on his kukri.
Go for it.
All right.
That only destroys the weapon if it wasn't made to be a weapon, right?
Let me check.
And while it's happening, he had no reason to suspect that you were going to attack him, so go ahead and do your attack roll. You get the first go, Nina.
I assume that I can sort of spot them as they're heading out and toss a cigarette and make my way in that direction with my doggy.
Do I have any defense to worry about?
He's completely surprised, so his defense will not apply at this particular junction.
Make sure I've got the right thing selected. Fuck you, roll 20.
Do it again.
Fuck you again, roll 20.
One more time.
4 damage.
There we go.
Smack!
Whack! This poor vampire is so fucked.
Crack across the jaw. You think you hear it crack as you slam across his jaw. He's, ah!
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm gonna need to use that soon, honey.
You're gonna pay for that. Ow!
All right.
At that point,
yeah. At that point, Eamon comes around the corner with a kukri that is literally glowing with the fucking light of God.
So we're gonna roll initiative real quick just to see if he gets to do anything before he gets smite.
It's smote, please. The term is smote.
13.
No, he doesn't.
7.
15. There we go.
Eamon, you're up first.
All right. Does he have hold of Nina at all?
He did for about a half second before that baton slammed into his jaw.
Okay. We're gonna try and take this guy's leg off, like right at the knee, just with the kukri.
So did the wrathful sword that only destroys the weapon if it wasn't meant to be a weapon, right?
No, it will destroy the weapon if it deals more than 4 points of damage by the end of the scene.
Okay.
If I deal 3 or less, then the gift ends and the thing stays intact. But he's willing to sacrifice a kukri on a vampire. Okay.
The leg off, staken, back in the van.
Holy fuck!
Or just
We
kill him.
wanted a survivor for questioning, you asshole.
I mean, I am only targeting the leg.
That's true, and it does.
Oh shit! I didn't roll any of. What was his defense? Did he have any at the moment?
It would have been 2.
Okay.
Okay. Let me re-roll that then. But that's a glorious roll. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh Jesus!
Holy Jesus!
Okay, that's much better.
That's much more reasonable.
Aim for the leg. He takes 1 point of aggravated damage. Holy shit!
That
I was
would
gonna
have
say,
been
I nearly one shot at a fucking vampire.
even holding, even just going for the leg, 8 aggravated damage. Jesus Christ!
Oh no, it's a maximum of 4 aggravated damage.
Okay.
Yeah, after which it would have been lethal, but yeah.
Okay.
Still.
That sound we can that typing sound we can all hear. It's the difficulty of the rest of this adventure being adjusted accordingly.
I mean, he saw how many dice I rolled to shoot a guy with a shotgun and still only got 2 damage, so...
Yep.
So you rush in and drive this kukri into his leg. There's a flash of light as it sears away at the flesh of his leg. Ah! Oh, and then it's Nina's turn.
dropping the baton, really quick, coming back, coming out with a pistol, putting it flat up against his chest to do. I realize this is not a silencer. Real people who argue about reality in horror games don't at me. Yeah, and just
Go for it. His defense is 1 now because he's been attacked
defense
already.
is 1. Okay, and Okay, are there weird modifiers? I've actually never done this in New World. Are there weird modifiers for shooting someone point blank? Because in Old World, it's a lot easier.
They get to apply their defense, and that's it.
Okay. -1. So there's another 2 damage.
5. So that's 7 damage. Yeah,
Yep.
he's done.
Get him on the ground. Get the
Now,
man.
will do. And he sheaths the kukri, very pleased with himself that it didn't break.
Because you pulled back at the last minute.
Right, yep. And he's like, maybe I should pull this. And he just goes and tosses Nina a steak, because we always have at least 1 or 2 of those.
Yep.
And then goes to get the van.
Oh, and that's going right in the chest. And for safe measure, getting rolled over and handcuffed behind the back.
So drive the stake into the chest, probably with the baton, with the front of the baton, just to slam it.
Jab it in just a little bit, and then just fucking curb stomp.
just stamp it into his chest a bit, just so it stays there, and then just stamp on it.
Yep.
And and it breaks through the ribs and drives straight into the heart.
Oh, that's a good sound.
Just like.
I like that we have a lot of differing opinions on all the other beasts of the night, but vampires universally, we don't mind just driving the
right.
stake in.
Fuck vampires.
But vampires can get fucked.
I mean, we did torture's still torture, but fuck vampires.
Right.
I feel like we had actually a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, that was a good convo.
Yeah, we had a really good conversation about it.
And
so we throw the van into reverse, squeal it into the alley or around the corner, climb over the seats, kick the back 2 doors open. All right, throw Craig inside here. Let's get him packed in.
Now, all right. Again,
so
feeling a little targeted.
So you know that with the second gunshot, there will be police called here shortly.
Oh, that's fine.
But you know that if you're gone before they show up, the union can take care of it, or you suspect that the people who have like big government agencies backing them can cover it up.
Dude, fuck that. The club can handle it.
Probably.
I'm sure this place, it is a nightclub in the world of darkness. I'm sure shootings are a weekly occurrence.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
Especially the club that's doping. It's like,
yeah,
like the club with the
club where the werewolves and the vampires both hang out.
Ecstasy, whatever it's pronounced. Like, yeah, they can handle it.
But yeah, she tosses the body in, climbs in, and goes, no, this one's mine. His name's not Craig.
They're all named Craig.
No, I got this one. His name's Armand.
Fair enough. Have it your way.
He's douche who thinks he's good with ladies. So he's an Armand, clearly.
Astrid, love, can you text everybody and let them know where the van is? Because I think we need to make ourselves a quick exit.
Yeah, we need to go.
All right. She'll send out a group text.
And so it's at this point, as your conversation with Jack is nearing its end, as you hear another gunshot, that you get that text.
Well, it looks like that's our cue to leave. So, it's been a pleasure talking with you. We'll be in touch. I'm assuming we can find you here if we need you.
We'll be in touch.
Of course. And I just put a hand on Paul's shoulder, and we're going to go.
Yeah, Paul will stand up, nod his head, not shake hands with anybody, and head out after Eamon or after Sean.
Sending it, looking to see if Jonas is also following out.
Jonas, who had been sitting in the booth that you guys had private for the entire time, and no one had ever bothered to walk over to.
I know, right?
It was like
Poor Jonas.
I mean, he got to sit and have a drink that wasn't from the bar, so.
I mean,
He had the fun part of the night.
I'm not getting in a church van with people that I've barely confirmed are the people I'm here to look for.
Like that's
fair.
a quality decision.
I will as I step up. Are you outside still, Drew?
I am probably headed back in about now, or I'm headed to a bus stop. I'm probably headed back in.
As we're heading out, I will pause, offer you a hand, like to shake. Pleasure to meet you. You must be our other friend. I'm Sean. Thanks for the backup. We're going to be skedaddling, so text you the address.
I'll figure out what I'll figure out what our contact needs, and then meet you there, I guess.
And
like clearly doesn't take your hand, is avoiding eye contact, like. Okay, this is really spot on, so I don't feel like it's offensive. You know, when someone who's like clearly raised atheist or potentially Jewish is interacting with someone in church garb, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I really don't know what the proper protocol is. Can I have this conversation, please?"
Yeah.
Legit.
I've been there. Yeah. Right. Nice meeting you. See you later.
Yeah,
And,
Paul will lean over and
I'm gonna go look for, because he said he was gonna be here tonight. I'm gonna go see if I can spot him.
Yep. What were you saying, Craig?
I was just gonna say Paul is also gonna say who. Now I know that Drew's visually is not may not be picking up on it, so may have just assumed that Paul was also part of the Maleficarum, but Paul will also say, well, yeah, you've got our numbers. I'm Paul, by the way. Just we'll meet up and talk soon later.
Yeah, and as you walk up the stairs, you see Jonas is on his way down as well, and sort of, good to see you made it. I think you might have met everybody. We had a bit of a commotion.
Yeah.
So, how was your night? Was it as fruitful as everyone else's seemed to have been?
I guess we'll see. It's definitely interesting.
Well, welcome to the cell.
Give him a nod.
All right, we should probably get going. Do you have transport? Do you need a ride?
I can make my own way, but I wouldn't say no to someone driving.
You don't want to ride in the Jesus van?
Mary, thank you very much. Mary, not Jesus.
6 of 1.
I've yet to see someone with a Joseph fan.
That's because no one cares about Joseph.
Joseph is canonically superfluous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
the only reason he's important is that he's superfluous, if I understand religion right.
That is
Pretty much.
accurate.
Pretty fair.
Joseph, stepfather of God.
So
I mean, and he's sort of the Pa Kent of the Jesus story.
So, as you
He tells Jesus that people will always hate him and that he shouldn't use the super.
No. Comic book Pa Kent,
Okay, fair.
not DCEU Pa Kent. That is the dark, gritty reboot of Jesus.
So that's the Passion of the Christ.
Let's
Pac.
move on.
anyway.
Yes, that is Passion of the Christ.
So as you'll head up I have a motorcycle, but it should have enough room for you and your companion.
Yep.
Does it have a doggy sidecar? Because yes,
it has large enough saddlebags for the dog to sit in.
Yeah.
I'm just
Perky.
wearing little.
I don't know how to pronounce that actually. Shperky aren't that big.
Yeah. So, you all head out. Where are you all intending to meet?
I don't know. I'm not driving the van.
Yeah, how many of us are like most of us? Did we just leave 2 motorcycles back at the? Or 3?
Oh no, that's true. I have my motorcycle.
We just leave 3 motorcycles back.
I have
at the
my
club.
bike. No. I would have assumedly had him stop, so I could grab my bike and go.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, 2 of those motorcycles, even if they got left there, it wouldn't matter.
Mhm.
So, I will drive. I will get in the van, close the door, turn the key. All right, where are we going? To Eamon, who I'm assuming is right next to me.
Head back to the church, I suppose.
You sure?
I will text the group. I will do the group text with an address. I'm assuming I will actually hold on.
Yes. I majored in local contacts.
No. I am going to use my
Sorry.
clicking in my thing.
Trying to look at your stuff. You gonna use your friends and neighbors?
I'm going to use my friends and neighbors for a temporary safe house.
I was going to say.
So I'm simply going to text an address.
Otherwise, our only mutual place of reference would be the Waffle House
or the torture suite.
Or the torture suite. But you don't invite yourself to someone else's torture suite.
That's true. Yeah.
I will head towards that address then.
So you know a couple of members of the union who have family that are going out of town, and their house is basically empty right now, and they're like, sure, you can stay there, just try not to track vampire blood everywhere.
We will use the basement, don't worry.
And because I imagine that this van was in a former life an ice cream van.
Oh my no,
I
absolutely
reach
not.
down and flip the switch that causes it to play gospel music over the speakers, so that everyone riding along with us gets a nice listen on the motorcycles.
That is to be eaten with a fork, Jack.
Ice cream that is to be eaten with a fork. Yes.
Well,
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's heavenly.
So you've got
Hail Mary.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's Ave Maria though.
Yeah,
not gospel.
Ave Maria just
Ave
playing
Maria.
on the loudspeaker.
Ave Maria playing like from like ice cream truck quality speakers as we drive down
with
the
the
road.
motorcycle directly in front of you guys that just has this. This is all you can see.
Paul is pinching
and,
his nose.
and I feel like the brothers are singing along in really bad Irish
Oh yeah.
accents.
Yep.
Is my ride in the group text?
Yes, Jonas is in the group text.
Yeah. Then I'll sort of shrug and, unless you need to go somewhere else.
No, let's meet up with them. Jonas is just like, as far as the church music goes.
Drew is silently wishing that instead of being blind, they were deaf, because then they would be able to drive not there and also wouldn't have to listen to this.
All the people on motorcycles have to listen to it.
No, we don't. We can drive away from you.
Yeah, we should. Good.
About halfway there, I'll reach down and turn it off.
Thank you. Do not blast
Ave Maria through the neighborhood.
as we move up to this secret safe house.
I love this game.
Oh my god. My heart. So you all pull up to this very, very suburban looking house. that sort of exists in the back corner of a neighborhood. There's construction going on, and this house is sort of by itself. Has there's a key hidden under the doormat that you can use to get in the house.
Let myself in.
Turn the lights on. It's very beige in here.
Paul's like, oh, I like it.
Feels right at home.
That surprises me absolutely not at all. All right. I'm going to do the quick check around for plastic.
Like it's got that very it's like that one floor house, all the walls are beige and all the trims are like milk white. So it's got that beige and white combination going on throughout the entire house.
It screams rental or just repainted for sale, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I go into the garage to look for plastic.
Yeah, you find like plastic bags and plastic tarp laydowns.
Plastic tarp. Yep, I'm just putting it down from the front door to the door to wherever the basement is.
Paul has his gloves back on.
It's like right across the living room, and then there's like the kitchen and the door out the back that heads to the basement.
I want to buy this house.
I go ahead and wrap the body in the back of the van in a trash bag. Or taking it out of the van.
Yep.
Because nothing says non-suspicious like a human-shaped trash bag.
It's less suspicious than a human-shaped human.
So, old bodies, as long as it is in the shape primarily of a trash bag and not the shape of a corpse laid out, you're fine.
Right. If you bowl them up, then it's like.
Bend. It's only got one leg, so bend the one leg that's left.
Jonas pulls up next to the group and just kind of takes up a position at the front, out the side of the front door, and just kind of lights a cigarette and just kind of stands and waits.
Yeah.
So Eamon was kind of helping with the trash bag, and then Jonas pulls up and he immediately drops the trash bag. Oh, we've got a doggy! And goes over to try and meet the dog.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. Hey, fucker!
The scene's over, by the way, so you're true.
I said you'd be fine by yourself for a minute.
Okay, guys.
Is it he or she? Can I pet him? Them.
This is
her.
This is a friend's house, and we are right here. I need everybody to be right about here.
Can I pet the doggy?
There you go.
So Drew will gesture down to the dog who has a little working dog, seeing eye dog vest that says, "I'm working, do not pet" on the side of it.
Okay. I can wait a bit.
Wake the entire neighborhood, maybe. Do you mind?
Go. It's Nina's place. Go right ahead.
It's Nina's friend's place, but yeah.
Yeah. And just sort of moving in. I don't have the muscle mass to help with carrying.
I finished packing up the
whatever you
shoulder.
have.
Paul may or may not, but is certainly not offering.
We're fine. We do this all the time. It's good for our exercise.
Yeah, and keeping, because I don't know how much permission we have to be here, keeping to the clearly laid out plastic trail and heading down to the basement.
He is just directing and we're walking this way, and we're walking, and we're walking, and we're walking.
I step into the house,
turning here, and we're down there.
As I step into the house carrying the corpse, I look around. Holy shit! It looks like somebody vomited after a Christmas day in here.
And
everything does kind of look like eggnog.
Jack, whose character does not have a name in Roll20, tragically.
Whoops.
Eamon.
Eamon might notice that dog is staying between me and Nina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Can I read into that at all?
Empathy, the dog.
I think that's some sort of empathy roll, but I'm certainly not proficient enough to tell you what that would be.
you can roll with empathy.
Okay.
Are you trying to hide your intent, or are you just?
No, I am
No,
agog at the animals. There is a dog here.
No, Drew.
Oh.
Sure.
Actually, is a demon in dog form? Is that empathy or animal kin?
Well, it depends on if you're trying to deter. Animal can if you want to know what the dog is thinking.
Empathy for Drew.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled 2 2s and 2 3s, so.
Hey, that's a good poker hand.
Eamon don't know shit.
What's the role I used to oppose that again?
Manipulation subterfuge to hide what you're thinking.
All I have to do is not fail, and we'll have a draw. Okay, that's a draw.
It's a draw.
You're the only one paying enough attention to the dog to notice that this is happening, because the dog is easy to let your eyes glaze over.
Yep.
Has the true sight worn off yet, by the way?
It's been a
Okay.
scene.
Yeah, it ended when we hit the van.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you've put it together, but you definitely noticed a Hellfire dog.
Oh yeah, no, I've
Okay.
I know who you are. You helped me kill a zombie.
Yeah, we're actually, we're fine. Helped.
You helped.
There was damage dealt.
Right, so,
yep.
as I lay the vampire down, all right. So everybody, just so you're all aware of what happened outside, there was a bugger of a zombie trying to break his way into the kitchen. I handled it. I believe this is Drew. I say, indicating to Drew. This one,
Nice.
one hell of an ally. Let me tell you, sick and fire and brimstone from the heavens is fantastic.
Double nice.
Anyways, and then I will.
Right now, I'm not happy that you're happy about that.
I am
fantastic.
very happy.
Still
I have
faint
been- I have
singe
not
marks in the
acted-
corner of your eyes, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like, it kind of looks like the Junkrat explosion to my
Right.
face. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so question then. If I am not happy that you're not happy that I'm happy, does that make you happy?
But I didn't. I only knew that you knew.
It's okay. You can answer that later. After drinks.
I will then proceed to divulge what happened from point of zombie killing onward, from my perspective.
I think Paul will quickly interject and just say everybody's names real quick and ask Drew's name.
Sure.
Nina.
John.
Eamon.
And I'll take the vest off and sort of gesture Crowley, gesture my dog in instruction. This is Crowley.
Hey, hello there, Crowley.
Hey there, you wee fella.
And I know I didn't name him.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh,
We name
He
all
does talk to the dead.
We name all of our vampires Craig, so it doesn't feel bad.
This one, by the way, for the record, is not Craig. He's mine. He's Armand.
All right, Armand. Tell him what you like.
Call a spade a spade.
Anyways, so yeah, regurgitating the information that Paul and I got from Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You all now been informed about the fetters of Fenrir, and that seems to be something that the werewolves are looking after.
And
Okay.
All right,
also,
then.
also giving us the information about finding our vampiric friend in Walton County. Are there any plantations in Walton?
Fuck if I know.
I say, looking at
Is
Nina.
there a... Yeah. Would
That'd
I
be-
know?
That'd be a streetwise to come up with it off the top of your head.
Okay. Intelligence streetwise.
Yep.
Because that seemed to be what he was indicating.
Oh.
Old racist vampire from Germany screams plantation owner.
Not wrong.
All the successes. I know the location of every plantation in the South for some reason.
With an exceptional success, you can think of there is literally a plantation that is sort of, it's like right south of Athens.
Shit! I know where you're talking about.
It's right next to a river called Lane Creek, and it's literally called Lane Creek Plantation.
Okay.
And it is a massive plantation area that spans a couple of different roads with big plantation house and all those grounds. Big open area, lots of land.
Well, let's see. There's Lane Creek. That would probably be your best bet. Don't judge me. The type of music I perform has unfortunate outliers who are part of the movement.
Oh, you're talking about all those Nazi fuckheads what listen to Oi and all that site.
Yeah. But yeah.
Eamon is an unrepentant flogging Molly fan.
No, I do have to say, if we're going to a plantation to kill us a Nazi vampire, my day just got wonderful.
I know, right?
Somebody say it was Christmas.
I have to say, if we were trying to track down someone that would be absolutely unobjectionable across the board as a target, I think we've done it.
Those are literally the sexiest words I've ever heard strung into one sentence.
Racist Nazi vampire?
That we're going to go kill.
Yes, that we're going to go kill a racist Nazi vampire.
And then kind of puts it down.
At a plantation.
Right then, but what's this all about the fetters of Fenrir?
Right.
Are they supposed to be...
I will motion to Paul to explain those.
And Paul will...
DM, can I make an occult roll given
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, I would like to.
Same?
Yeah, all of the people who would like to can make occult rolls if they haven't already.
Occult is intelligence and occult, I assume?
Intelligence and occult.
Yeah, there's
Awesome.
one.
Paul will fill you in on what we learned earlier, but I forget
Well,
what I
fuck you
got
too.
success-wise.
Yeah, fuck you too,
My
Dice.
God, Aaron.
I told you, I am a nerd. I'm the... Yeah, just...
No. I fully expected the die pool of 7. I'm talking about the rolling.
Today in particular, yeah.
Good.
Bad.
3 successes for Eamon, who's apparently a bookworm suddenly.
Well, I mean, this is mythology.
My brother
Yeah,
Eamon
it's
al-
true.
Fun.
My brother Eamon always was the nerd.
I don't remember if what I got was 3 or...
You had...
Fuck you, Sean.
Both of you guys
I'll
just had-
attack of opportunity your ass into the middle of next week.
So, Nina, you know that the fetters of Fenrir mythologically are a set of ribbons that were used to bind Fenrir.
Yeah.
And that Tyr lost his hand over because they refused to remove them, even though that was the bet.
You know, Paul
Yep.
and I both got 1 success on ours.
Yeah. Eamon, you know that, and you also know that supposedly the fetters of Fenrir were crafted by dwarves, and that upon the eve of Ragnarok, the fetters of Fenrir would come loose, and Fenrir would rise to join the Great War at the end of the world.
Cool.
I know we've all had discussions about working with unusual co-workers, even beyond this particular group, but
Right.
I hopefully we can all agree that when we do track them down, we're certainly not handing them over to the group that perhaps they could best be used to restrain, correct?
Well, I mean, Jonas did sort of make it sound like if we just let the werewolves run roughshod over the area, it's probably going to get out of hand right quick. I think having some level of deterrent in place, even Although then there's the question of if they find out that we have them and aren't willing to turn them over, are they just going to go completely spare on us anyway?
I mean, all
We
right.
might try, but if we've got them at that point, then we have something to use. Look, let me just say that I think there are better hands in which they could be placed.
I mean,
I'm
you're not
shocked.
entirely wrong.
I'm truly
Like,
shocked by that thought.
I'm just not entirely certain that the wolf lads would view it with that sort of reasonable level of detachment.
Oh, they won't.
Worst case scenario, we've got our first test subjects then. Look, all I'm saying is that the boys back home love it when I come back after doing a little bit of field testing.
So you're
Okay,
saying
well-
that
Well,
ahead.
we'll burn that bridge down when we get to it. Then I suppose.
I for one would really like to know what Nina's been trying to say for the past 2 minutes, you boys.
Sorry.
It's all good. My first thing is, and to be fair, Drew's got something to say too, but I may be I may be slow to the party on this thought train. Also, I may have missed it because double focus, but we are at least somewhat on the same page that it's probable, since there's this crimson veil that everybody's looking for, and the Fenrir fetters that apparently the fuzzies are looking for. These are probably the same thing, right?
do we know anything else about? And also, can I make an occult roll on the crimson veil thing?
You can remember me to call it. You're the only one that has it yet. Yeah.
I've got I placed in a call to the Vatican to have them take a look into Crimson Veil.
Well, fuck you 2 days. One success.
Did I roll on Crimson Veil last time? I don't remember if I did.
I think everybody did.
Except for Drew.
Everyone did, and I think the most we ever got was a 1.
Yeah.
So what you don't have any solid knowledge, but based on what you can surmise off of the name, it definitely sounds of empiric in origin. You would suspect that it's something that is not necessarily in the annals of history. It's probably something that only really vampires would have severe knowledge of.
Yeah, I'm just all right. Then I'm looking to the group to see if they want to share what they've already learned.
So I've gone and put in a word at the Vatican to have them take a look around in the archives and see if we've got anything substantial regarding the Crimson Veil. I would, however, put forward that, yes, very likely the thing that we're looking for is not actually a Crimson Veil or actually the fetters. Considering that
it might be what two people are called. Two different groups are just naming the same thing that has multiple uses.
May very well be the same thing as well. Yes.
Well, yeah. What does it?
We don't know, other than that it's apparently the beacon that is causing all this weird stuff to come here.
All we do know, is that it's drawing in supernatural creatures. They all want something different out of this little piece of the pie. Vampires think that it's going to be something that's going to end their eternal thirst or some shit like that, according to Craig. Werewolves think it's this fetters of Fenris. Every other critter's probably got their own idea of what it is.
And they might not be wrong.
Yeah.
It could be, it could legitimately, tie down, which allows for some sort of sacrifice that cures the eternal thirst, that causes, I don't know, all of the fake creatures' privates to tingle in the right way, or whatever the fuck the rest of them are going to be.
So all we really know is that we're looking for it.
Yeah.
Let's not plan on using it on anyone until we know what it is and what it does.
And at that point, we do it far the fuck away from this city.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, so to summarize what we've got for you, Drew, since you're the latest arrival to our little compact here, apparently the Holy Grail's here in Atlanta somewhere. Everybody's looking for something, which I'm kind of inclined to believe is various names for a single thing, or maybe even just various names for something that doesn't actually exist. And there's a third reason that some power or other wants a whole bunch of monsters rampaging around the urban metropolitan area. Anyway, theorizing aside, we're looking for somebody named the Colonel, who's apparently roasting all the vampires in the area to get into the city and find whatever it is he's after. And it sounds like he's a couple hours outside the city, and we'll be looking him up to punch his card here fairly shortly, hopefully.
Yeah, to recap, some of them...
Am I missing anything?
Well, I out of character, I want to remember, I feel like there was a moment when someone in character, maybe Jonas, actually called it the Terminus tendency, but maybe that was in my intro episode.
Yeah, Jonas did mention that the eggheads back at least among the Knights of St. Adrian are calling it the Terminus tendency.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I will specifically...
It being the thing everybody's looking for, or the phenomena of the
phenomenon of all the supernaturals converging on Atlanta.
In other words, what we know is that Jonas's people are have live journals.
Yes.
Because that's the kind of title you would give your live journal.
Right. But like Eamon said, everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use it. Some of them want to be used by it. And he just sort of stops and smiles if there's any in-character laughter.
There's a smile.
There's a face palm.
Love it.
Dad joke.
I knew that was coming as soon as you started saying it, and I was so proud.
All right. Well, that brings everybody up to speed where we are now. I feel like if we're going to get some information about... I feel like if we're going to learn a little bit more about the Colonel, let's have a conversation with Armand.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear Jonas call from outside the door. We may have a bit of a delay on that.
I will pull the Thunder 5 off my hip.
I was going to say,
pop the revolver out, remove the 2 empty shells, put 2 fresh ones in, click it closed, holster, and go upstairs.
Yep. We were still upstairs at that point.
Oh, I thought we were downstairs.
Eamon's got his gladius and his kukri on hand.
Downstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
As you hear and see a pair of pickup trucks racing down the street towards your location with Rebel Yell blasting on the radio.
Oh, fuck no.
This is where we're going to pick up next week.
Yeah, people. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.